How you doing, YouTube? Matt with Massive Beer Reviews back with, I don't know, channel update? Oh, well, thank you. Let's go thank you. Because I don't think there's going to be a bunch of update stuff. We'll talk about a little bit of things and stuff they have going on and getting into. But this is primarily because I've hit 4,000 subscribers. Kind of cool. Kind of cool. Yeah, it's a weird world to live in. Just started doing this a couple years ago. It seems like I get exponentially more and more subscribers, which is cool. But it also seems like I get exponentially more and more people commenting and reaching out in videos, which means there's actual engagement, interaction with people. And that's pretty freaking cool. I did one of these videos for 3,000 subscribers almost exactly 6 months to the day. So in 6 months, I gained 1,000 subscribers. That in itself is fucking kooky as fuck. And crazy. So thank you very much for watching. Thank you all out there for watching. It's been a cool ride. The ride gets cooler. Yeah, I don't think it's going to get cooler, and then it just gets cooler. Listen, I'm one of the world's biggest introverts. Introvert, and I'm kind of an asshole. I don't mean to be like that, but I just get kind of tied up with things, and sometimes I forget to contact people. I don't watch a lot of other people's videos, not because I don't want to watch them, just because I don't have that much time in the day to do things I want to do, and it just amazes me how cool people are, even with me being kind of aloof and stuff like that. People comment on my videos. Sometimes it takes me 2 weeks to get back to people. I always get back to everybody, but it takes me a while. I know that's kind of a poopy thing to do, but it's kind of where I am. You know what I mean? As far as life and stuff like that. I'm moving. I'm getting married. There's a lot of stuff going on. So I'm a busy dude. And I started this when I was actually working for myself, and I had a lot of extra time in my hands. I don't have that anymore. But, you know what I mean? It's just amazing to see the interaction and the cool people I've met. Like, over the past year alone, the people I've met, you know what I mean? There's people that send me beers, but outside even people sending me beers, people I've interacted with, ended up meeting up with people in the real world that I've met via the YouTubes. You know, I'm texting some of the people, or on a text status with some people I actually met in real life, kind of hung out and drank beers with. I've been way more active with going to breweries and going to kind of beer releases. It has a lot to do with another thing I've been doing, and we'll mention that in a minute, but you know, waiting in line or just hanging out at these beer releases, actually meeting people out and about in the world, not being the introverted hermit that I typically am, and just kind of people being like, hey man, blah blah blah, you know, I know you're from that, I know you're from this, and it's just like, okay, people actually watch. It's not just me just kind of spouting into the ether of the internet and seeing subscribers gained and not knowing if it's actually a legit thing. So it's just cool, and that's why I'm making a video. And that's the impetus for the video, is just for me to say thank you very much for everybody out there that actually watches, and you know what I mean, comments and pushes stuff, you know what I mean. Like, I have, you know, over the years, I don't want to name names, there's people that, you know, I could sit here and rattle off, you know, some of the old schoolers, some of the new schoolers. I don't want to do that because I don't want to forget anybody. I don't want to kind of prop some people up and forget other people that are cool. So I'm not going to name names about who's what and whatnot and things and pieces and stuff. Words. Just say thank you very much. Thank you very much for watching. Thank you very much for just being active, commenting on the beers, sending me beers, all that stuff. It's without those things, without the feedback, without the pushback, without the some people yelling at me, some people thanking me, all that stuff. That's why you kind of do it, because there's an excitement to it. There's something that makes my brain kind of churn and want to keep doing it. And that's awesome. And it's kind of, I get a little rejuvenated over the past year or so. You know, like I said, I'm a fantastic, awesome woman. Getting married, I'm moving. My job is fantastic. So, and then I started doing my podcast again, and we'll talk about that for a little bit. You know, I used to do a radio show, and that radio show was pretty awesome. To be honest with you, it was right down the street from me, and when I first started doing it, it was pretty fantastic. You know, I go on Sundays at noon, I do a live interview with a brewer, and we talked to almost everybody. You know, Augie Carton from Dean from Treehouse, to JC from Trillium, to the guys from Rare Barrel, to Jim Koch from Sam Adams, to you know, anybody. You know what I mean? Like, you speak of them, and then we've talked to them, and then, you know, about a year and a half, 2 years ago, I just kind of had to be at the same place. It was a live interview thing. I always had to be somewhere at noon on a Sunday. And that kind of got really shitty. because I couldn't travel and couldn't do things, and stopped doing it. And I was like, okay. And after a couple months, I was like, man, I'm so happy I stopped doing that. Like, now I'm traveling, I'm going places, because I couldn't really do that on Sundays. Even on Saturdays, I'd be like, oh, I can't go, because, you know, if I end up being late and I want to stay overnight, I have to be back home by Sunday morning. And I was like, man, this is awesome. And then, you know, I started to get an itch, starting to get an itch. And there was a pretty reclusive brewer. Right when I was doing the end of the radio show, I started, you know, I'd constantly be booking breweries to do interviews. And there's a pretty, like, reclusive brewer, very popular guy, New England brewery area guy, who just doesn't really do any of that shit. And he said he would do it. And I was like, okay. But he said, I'll do it, but I can't do it until the fall. And I was like, I took that as him being very nice, as saying, I don't want to do it, but I'll tell you I'll do it, but I can't do it till the fall. I was like, whatever. And then, like, a month later, I stopped doing it, and fall comes, and lo and behold, he writes me, hey, man, I want to do it now. And I was like, okay, I'm not really doing it, but I'm bringing it back. He's like, oh, okay. He's like, well, let me get back to you. He's like, he says, get back to me when you get everything set back up, and we'll do it. I was like, okay. And then a year goes by, and he goes, hey, man. He reaches back out to me. He's like, I kind of really still want to do this if you still want to do it. And I'm like, and this is in October of this past year, and I was like, why the fuck am I not doing this? Why am I not interviewing brewers, for one? Because I go to these places now. I was like, it doesn't have to be this radio show. It can be a podcast or anything like that. I'm like, why am I not doing this? I want to do it. So, and this guy's like, doesn't talk to anybody, and he's like kind of emailing me, nudging me, and I was like, fuck this, I'm going to start doing this again. So went and dropped, you know, a bunch of money on a bunch of, like a Rode studio to do podcasting. Started doing it again. Started doing a podcast. Took all the old brewer interviews we had on our old radio show, which is like 100 of all the crazy brewers we interviewed, uploaded those, and adding new content. Name of it, if you watch some of my reviews, you'll see me plug it at the end, is Beer Massive. So beer. And then Massive, MASSIF.com. Why Massive? Some people are like, what the fuck? Well, it means mountain. It doesn't mean mountain. I'm kind of just cut and dry. It's a mountain type range of whatever, so it's Beer Mountain, you know what I mean? The pinnacle of beer. Whatever. Fucking modest. But there's also, when I grew up, there was a internet, a zine, whatever you want to call it, and it was called Huge Massive. Had to do with techno music and stuff like that, and I always liked that, so I was like, yeah, I'll kind of rip off that and riff off the mountain thing and whatever. So Beer Massive, that's where that comes. So it was kind of worked for me too. It was like, instead of doing massive beers, it was Beer Massive, not massive. So it's a bit of a disconnect. So I brought that back, re-uploaded everything, and started doing brewer reviews. But it's just not me. I have a crew of dudes. I ended up kind of putting it out there to local guys. Got a crew of about 4 or 5 dudes. And we're just going to kind of rip it and just go about and interview brewers and do whatever. We've already posted, by the time you see this, it'll be tonight. I'll post it tonight. You know, we posted an interview with Brian Eaton from Grist House. We did an interview with a super fun one with James Priest from the Referent Beer Blendery in New Jersey. Did a roundtable, an introductory episode. We have right now in the can, we have 4 or 5 brewer interviews. Right now, the ones that are edited and ready to go would be Matt Ziegler and his crew down there at Zigmeister in New Jersey, and the guys Pete and Eduardo and Ricardo. Eduardo. I'm a dumbass. Ricardo and Will from Equilibrium Brewing. Now, they're about an hour. I'm going to keep them tidy. I know I can talk. I have the gift of the gab. But I'm trying to keep them right around an hour of content each one. So, you know, got good stuff already up, good stuff coming in. So kind of branching out into that and doing a podcasting thing. A lot of the viewers out there have actually clamored for that. A lot of people have said, can you do some of your stuff in a podcasting form? Because I'm out and about sometimes. I don't want to listen to you. I listen to you more than I watch. So can you do that? I'm kind of doing that. I'm not putting my massive beers stuff up there. Not really. Some of you, you're going to see a little bit of bleed over. I'll probably end up posting some of my editorials I've done. I do my end of year stuff is up there. but it's new content. It's much the same thing. It's me. I'm just a dude. I'm just asking questions, and same thing with the guys that I'm doing it with. It's not like the typical like, hey, so blah blah blah, like cheesy interview questions. I'm trying to have a conversation with people rather than actually just a question and answer session, and try to keep it light and just try to keep it interesting, like you were actually sitting there having a conversation. So that's the newer thing coming out of all this. You know, like I said, to kind of flip back and wrap back to what I was talking about earlier, it's all because people watch and subscribe. If people didn't do the subscribe thing on YouTube, I would have never done that. So you guys are the driving force around all the beer shit that I do. So I'm just super appreciative. I love it. I'm glad you guys dig it. I'll keep doing it if you keep digging it. So there you go. Just a little thank you, a little update in the podcasting, and that's all I got for you now. So thank you very much, guys, for watching. Thank you very much for subscribing and commenting and all that stuff. And thanks for the love. Thanks for the beers. Thanks for everything. And we'll see you probably, when I hit 5,000. Another one of these videos. So here's you. Cheers.